This is another one of those regions that is like dominated by Terran and Protoss, less so Zerg.
Yeah, it's a lot of them. But we shall be continuing our bracket here with the Terran and Protoss for another Terran versus Protoss match on Inside and Out, where in the bottom left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom left-hand corner, we of course have our yellow Protoss player coming on from the land of China. He is the ace of his team. He has just taken down a pretty strong Terran player. Can he do it again? He is representing Starlight Twinkle, Yuki.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Inside and Out, we have the Chinese Terran player himself representing Team Rook WG. It is PioneeR.
Rook WG?
Yeah. At first I thought it was like Woojin Stars or something. That's what my brain went to. But yeah, Rook WG. It's interesting. I have to wonder if it's like another clan on the Chinese server, or if it's just what PioneeR made himself. Yeah, let us know.
Rook reminds me of chess.
Rook reminds me of the Korean Terran Rookie from back in the day. Rookie.
Zest?
No. Goddamn.
Oh wait, Rookie, yeah. I thought you said Wookie for some reason.
Why do you think of Zest when I say Wookie?
Is his name?
He's not hairy. I would know. I've seen him without a shirt. Okay. Like, oh god. That would be an amazing name. I mean, I was about to praise our Terran player here. Like, I love the name PioneeR. Like, it's kind of like
it's like innovating.
Yeah. It's kind of like innovation, but like in a bit like more classy.
Yeah.
PioneeR.
Less technical. He gets on a boulder, and he drives.
What?
Miles.
Oh my god. But yes, we have seen already what ReWhite has to offer in the PvT matchup, and Ghost Phantom had a hard time against his aggression. But we'll see what PioneeR has to offer instead, as he opens up with a 1-base 1/1/1.
A lot more standard than what we saw from Ghost Phantom. If you recall, Ghost Phantom went for Cyclone first, yeah, 2 1s and then 3 Raxes and whatnot. But PioneeR for now, just sussing out his opponent, just going for a Widowmine drop.
Yeah, exactly. At the same time, the Reaper's going to slip into the main base. He will scout the Twilight Council, so he's fully aware about the Blink Stalker opener or potential into DT opener. So honestly, a great start already, or a great scout by this Reaper.
Yeah, it's got eyes on everything right now. It looks like PioneeR wants to go for the variant where you... Okay, no, never mind. With how he was rallying everything, I thought he might want to go across the map with both Widowmines and Marines, but for now, he's just playing it safe and going for just 2 Widowmines.
Yeah, exactly. At the same time, we do see ReWhite checking here with a bit of a shade. It looks like he will be denied entry into the main, but ooh, looking at the vision, he may have just barely caught a glimpse of that medevac.
Yeah, he's gotta have. And he should be preparing it back at full. He was gonna go for Blink regardless, but I love how active he's being with the Stalkers right now.
Wow.
Ooh, Spuppy!
He does boost away, but already at less than half HP here on this medevac. We do have another Warping and Stalker, and the drop is just completely being zoned out.
Yeah, he can't boost through right now. It's on cooldown. There's absolutely nothing PioneeR can do except run the hell away and confirm that Yuki is going for a 3rd base.
Yeah, honestly, that was a very lucky and crucial scout here from this Adept. The Adept did in fact see the drop just as it was leaving, and immediately ReWhite just left and just hunted it down the way that he did. I mean, the drop is still alive, don't get me wrong, so there's potential to deal damage here, but already just a great deflection by our Protoss.
Yeah, this is pretty significant though from the side of PioneeR. So while he can go in eventually with the Widowmine drops to get a bit more damage, he hasn't been able to scout the follow-up just yet from ReWhite.
Yeah, exactly. He is a little bit in the dark. Looking at his vision, he did see the third CC at least, so he knows it is going to be a macro-based build. It isn't like a 2-base all-in or anything crazy like that. So he has some scouting information, and he's going for a Liberator at the same time. Ideally, this Liberator is going to not just deal damage, but also distract ReWhite, so this drop can actually go in.
Yeah, I would be surprised if the Liberator actually sieges up, and it doesn't. Just confirms that's a Twilight Council, that's a something, and that, speaking of something, that's a lot of Marines coming across the map right now with no upgrades whatsoever and very little medevac support.
Yeah, that's why it kind of caught me off guard. These are vanilla Marines, by the way. No +1, no combat shields, no stim, no nothing. PioneeR's just rushing on in, relying a lot on his tanks and his Liberators.
You know, initially I thought the Liberators were just a response to getting his Widowmine drop deflected, but now it seems like it was actually intentional all along. He is zoning out a lot of Stalkers. He's dealing a lot of damage. Beautiful mind bait here. On top of that Immortal, that was the one thing that could have taken out the tanks, but now PioneeR's established a foothold right outside Yuki's natural base.
Wow, exactly. With the death of that Immortal, it may just be the death of ReWhite. Here's the tanks are leapfrogging forward here, getting ever closer to that natural base. Stalkers blink forward in desperation. They do get the Liberator in the end. The Zealots even take down that tank. I'm sure they were hoping for maybe some friendly fire from those Widowmine shots, but they were not reset.
Only one tank goes down, though, and now the Widowmines, like you said, they are reset. These SCVs, I can't believe they're still alive, starting to throw down a couple of bunkers. His royal facility goes down. That's a lot of production and a lot of damage potential being taken out for ReWhite.
Yeah, exactly. We do have one Immortal in the backline. We're working on a handful more Stalkers. 2 more gates are on the way. If this base goes down, ReWhite is going to be forced all in. He's going to be forced to counterattack. Meanwhile, he goes on forward. He does have Blink. He does bait at that shot.
Yeah, it does still take a little bit of splash damage on that, though. Fortunately for Yuki, not quite able to blink away entirely. Natural base goes down, and this was all PioneeR needed to do. But he's not satisfied just yet.
Oh, we even have a recall over towards the third base. The third base is still up and running, by the way. That does mean that we don't have the Immortal here to help defend. The Immortal's going to have to come in from the backline here for a little bit of a surround. Yuki, with these 2 bases, economically is still ahead, by the way. Still has more probes, just has to try and find a way to deal with the army.
Yeah, the army that is very quickly encroaching on top of him. Immortal goes down once again. I love this from PioneeR. He leaves 1 tank and 1 Marine in a bunker. Just to make sure that Yuki's not able to flank him or get on top of him while he concentrates his forces on this third. Finally, PioneeR's ahead economically.
Yeah, the third goes down. We do have a couple of Stalkers trying to catch some reinforcements here in the middle of the map. These Widowmines have done so much, by the way. Like, they were able to kill a couple of those Stalkers as well, as PioneeR is going to force his way into the main base. What do you have at home to defend? We don't even have a shield battery ready for this.
Yeah, and shield battery or no shield battery, I don't think it's going to be enough to deal with the might of 3 Stalkers whilst they're supply blocked. Another chunk of production is getting depowered. PioneeR doesn't even want to siege up just yet.
Yeah. GG gets called. PioneeR with a very interesting build. We were both so distracted. ReWhite as well was distracted with the aggression, with the drops, with the Widowmine drop and with the Liberator. But back at home, like, because he was so distracted by that, he wasn't scouting to see what the follow-up was going to be from PioneeR.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you, Light. I need this build. I seal this and figure out what to do with it eventually, because my god, that was a very systematic takedown. Like you said, a lot of it did. It feels like a lot of it did come down to the fact that ReWhite maybe felt a little bit overconfident after deflecting the Widowmine drop, and in fairness to him, who the hell pushes across the map with vanilla Marines and a Viking and a Liberator in TVP? Pretty much just PioneeR.
Yeah, well, I mean, I love that, like, it also incorporated everything else. Like, honestly, I don't know if his push would have been anywhere near as successful if he didn't have the Widowmines with it as well, right? From that initial drop that were able to survive. Same with the Liberator. Like, both the Liberator and the Widowmines did so much for that push.
It's the sheer zoning potential alone and having a early Liberator and early tank.
Yeah. Yeah, a very strong two-base push there. Again, Yuki was playing in the dark, was going for a fast third base, was delaying his own production as well, did have Blink, but didn't know that that push was coming across. Didn't have anything in the middle of the map to scout for this coming until it was already in his face.
And by the time it was there, his face is gone. As we continue our series now to Data Under the Sea. Face off. In the bottom left-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the bottom left-hand corner, we of course have our yellow Protoss player, who I would normally say is up in this series, but not this time. He is coming from the land of China and representing Starlight Twinkle. You know him as Yuki. We know him as ReWhite.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Data Under the Sea, we have a player that we are casting here for the first time in first time period on the CranKy Ducklings. We've been covering the DreamHack China qualifiers for years, and for the first time he's here, already making a bit of a name for himself, representing clan Rook WG. It is PioneeR.
And we have just been informed here, thank you very much to 7 Pin Cat.
Oh.
Rook WG stands for Rookie Warp Gate. So it has nothing to do with this.
But has something to do with Rookie.
Yes.
Rookie Warp Gate. Okay. I have to wonder if that's like a pun on the fact that maybe they don't accept Protoss players.
Oh, I see.
Oh god, I have to wonder. But yeah, okay. Rookie Warp Gate. I love it. RWG.
No, W has too many.
I know.
What would a Rookie Warp Gate be? A Warp Prism?
Rookie Warp Gate. A Prism's pretty good though. It's better than a Warp Gate.
Yeah. A Cybercore. A Barracks.
Yeah, Barracks. There you go.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That makes sense, because, you can't warp in Marines instantly, but if you get a reactor, you can build 2 of them.
There you go. You can.
It's rookie.
And speaking of the reactor, we do see that PioneeR is going for a very different build this time. He is going for a Rax expand, only went for a single gas here, delaying his second gas for quite some time, so a much more economic opener here on Data C.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, I guess no need to break it.
Yeah. And I appreciate this variation. Again, if you remember, last game, PioneeR went for a 1-1-1 opener, and it didn't really do too much. To be fair, the follow-up was insane. But the opener itself wasn't really finding the damage that he was, I imagine, looking for. Or maybe he was. It's kind of interesting. I would love to kind of pick PioneeR's brain a little bit as to what he was hoping to accomplish with his opener.
Yeah, the follow-up is definitely insane, but that was... It also felt like something that he improvised a little bit based on how he knew he couldn't get damage done early on, but he allowed his units to survive. This time, it seems like he's doing a little bit less of that, and he actually has a plan going into this game.
Exactly. He's going to be getting into a bit of a longer game. Meanwhile, we do have a Widowmine hidden here in between the bases, or in between the gas geysers of PioneeR. A lot of this is because if you look at the vision of PioneeR, he didn't go for a Reaper, he didn't go for an SCV Scout, he is playing completely blind. So for all he knows, it's a Stargate opener, and he has to prepare for that. He has to make sure that an Oracle doesn't just kill him.
This is why building the Stargate off key, if you will, is optimal.
Off tempo.
PvT. Off tempo, there we go.
Yeah.
No, but you play Surge.
So yeah, PioneeR just playing it safe. He's even going for a Raven follow-up as well. So again, because he's playing blind, if there were DTs, he will have detection available as well.
Yeah, just about as safe as can be. And again, this lends itself out really well to standard TPP play. ReWhite, though, how many gateways does he have? He has 2 of them so far. Okay. So still playing things out, not too aggressively, not too defensively, relatively balanced as he goes for a third.
Yeah, yeah, ReWhite has gone for the exact same opener as he did last game, where he goes for a fast third base off of 2 gateways, and we saw the downside to that, and that is that he is working with very few units at the start of the game. He does have map control with Blink, sure, but he can't really do too much else from here. Thankfully for him, PioneeR isn't going to be hitting timing off of 2 bases anytime soon, so ReWhite this time will be able to get away with his third.
Yeah, for how long is going to be the question, because he's already up in workers. You throw the third nexus into the equation, and that worker difference is going to go absolutely insane in the favor of Yuki.
Oh yeah, it's gonna get wild, mate. And the other thing that's a little bit wild here is that we do have 2 more Raxes being thrown down. We do have an upgrade timing here with a single engineering bay as well. But Yuki finds a way into the main base, and he may be able to get 1 deeper.
That's actually pretty crucial. Look at its supply cap for PioneeR right now.
Oh.
He extends it for too much longer, then by the time he pushes out, he's not going to have much of a fighting force to him.
Yeah, exactly. 2, 3 more deepers are thrown down. You hate to see it. So the supply block is quite significant here. But PioneeR is working on a pretty large army. Looking at the units tab, we have 3 tanks already. We're working on a 4th tank. We're going to have Stim. We're going to have +1. We're even going to have the Raven for disables on Colossi or anti-armor missiles on the Zealot main army.
You forgot one crucial point in that light. We have boys to pull.
True.
44 of them, to be exact.
Oh my god. The army's gonna be insane. So we'll see if he does end up pulling the boys with this push. He doesn't have to. If he wants to, he can push out with this army, try and threaten and deny the third, and expand behind it. Like, you don't have to be ultra committed, even though we would love him to.
Yeah, and unfortunately he's not taking that ultra commitment, at least not for now.
Let's go!
Yes! The commitment we were waiting for.
I love it. I love that. But we see it coming. We're like, mate, it'd be pretty nice if he pulled the boys right now. And PioneeR, he's on the same wavelength. That may not be a good thing. Yeah, it may not be a good thing that he's on the same wavelength as us, but there we go. The boys have been pulled.
I'll see if that's enough to really make a difference in this fight. There aren't too many high-tech units. Only Storm, but that's a huge Storm and a half. Anti-armor missile, unfortunately, catching half the bio count as well. PioneeR immediately taps out. Knows he's in the Storm for a bit too long.
GG, that was a money storm, mate. That's like, it's like, pull the boys, let's go. Oh. Unfortunately, the tanks weren't even able to siege. To be fair, ReWhite was kind of panicking a little bit. We did see that ReWhite was throwing down like 5 or 6 shield batteries towards the end there, not necessarily recognizing whether or not the storms were going to be good enough. Thankfully for him, PioneeR hadn't scattered at all. He didn't realize that he had to split up his army and prepare for a storm.
Yeah, and he didn't know that he could get away with it either.
Oh yeah, he did not know. Now we're going to be getting ready for game number 3. We are going into our ace match.
Yeah, it should be, I mean, depending on what our players tell us here, on Tropical Sacrifice.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Just making sure that that was indeed the map of choice. Wasn't entirely sure.
I know a few words, specifically the ones that are in English.
Fun fact: in our first series, the players were doing their vetoes, and I was using Google Translate, and the translation for Tropical Sacrifice was sun-scorched forest or something like that. I was like, oh my god.
I love the idea of that. So tropical is sun-scorched, right? And sacrifice is vacation, you said?
I can't. Look, I'm gonna have to go back in the translates. Okay, I can't remember. But it was intense. It was intense.
Yeah, very dramatic, which is what I always appreciate about the Chinese client or Chinese localization.
Beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
Just like the ghost screams.
Yeah, and the Marauder screams. The Marauder screams will haunt me.
Yeah. They shouldn't, but they will anyway.
Like a phantom.
Ah, of the opera. Named Danny. Anyway, we're going to be continuing our series and concluding it, actually. Now, on Tropical Sacrifice, we're in the top right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top right-hand corner. We, of course, have our yellow Protoss player coming out from the land of China. He is going to be representing Starlight Twinkle. He is. You know him as Yuki. We know him as a ReWhite.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice, we have the Chinese Terran player himself representing Team Rookie Warpgate. It is PioneeR.
RG.
WG.
WG.
Oh boy, so we'll see how this plays out here. So far, pretty standard opener, opting not to try and wall off here on top of the ramp and try and keep Yuki outside of the main. So yeah, it looks like he wants to go for a Rax expand.
Yeah. What he does behind that, though, is definitely going to be what we look out for. It would be insane to 3-Rax on this map. In fact, if you were to 3-Rax, then I think we'd already see these other 2 Raxes across the map right now. So, what are we feeling like? Just another mine drop coming out from him?
Yeah, like obviously we're slowly learning with everyone else what exactly or how exactly PioneeR approaches these games. And he seems like a very cheesy player, hitting quite a number of 2-base all-ins essentially. As he actually goes for a CC on the high ground.
Very paranoid, but at the same time hasn't walled off his main.
Interesting. He's gonna even have to pull another SCV here just to make sure that this CC is able to build. But yeah, he's gone for a lot of 2-base timings, and we've seen it succeed, we've seen it fail as well. I imagine we're not going to be seeing a macro game. I imagine we're going to be seeing something, again, similar. But what kind of 2-base timing or 2-base all-in exactly? I'm not sure.
I would like to imagine Thor Banshees, but of course we can't really be sure about that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how he is able to piece this all together. Meanwhile, across the map, ReWhite, we do see him go for a relatively standard opener, but mixing things up with his tech.
Yeah, the very first Divergence in build so far comes from Yuki. Going for that Stargate instead of a Twilight Council first. PioneeR needs to scout this, and he may with a Hellion drop.
Yeah, interesting here. PioneeR does start Hellion production. 2 Hellions at a time, might I add. As you were saying, we have the Starport. It is rallied towards these Hellions, so he's going to go for that drop. Or should be.
Potentially. No, he could also meet up with that Reaper and go for a mine drop instead.
He's going to do it
Armory? Armory? Hamono?
Oh my god. Yeah, he's gonna do a bit of everything. With his Reaper and with his Hellion, he can threaten the natural base. At the same time, we're gonna be seeing a drop, I imagine, into the main of ReWhite as well. So some multi-prong attack, actually committing and waiting for 4 Widowmites.
That is absolutely insane to think about. At this point, there's the Armory!
God.
ReWhite already revealing his hand a little bit with the Oracle.
Yeah, pretty crucial scout here from PioneeR. He just dives in with his initial Hellions. He confirms the opener, confirms that at least there is an Oracle, and it has already wasted its energy, so he won't necessarily have too much energy for a Revelation, as the first drop is going out across the map, and I don't believe the Oracle was able to see it.
I think they just missed each other, but barely. 1 Viking is in production right now, and this Oracle doesn't have too much energy on it. Shouldn't be able to get too much done. 1 reveal gets thrown.
Yeah, we do have a Revelation, but that just means that we won't have enough energy from detection back at home.
As we can see, there's no pull! Now there's a pull, but it feels too little, too late. 8 probes go down. And that's just the beginning of it.
That is only the beginning, because we do have another Widowmine headed towards the natural base. We have a Revelation on all 3 of these Widowmines. Oh my god, I'm quite impressed with that. Meanwhile, up!
That Widowmine shot is not quite enough to take out the Phoenix. This Revelation... Hello? Hello? I was gonna ask, how long does Revelation last? Not long enough is the answer to that. And more mines are coming across the map. Things are going from bad to worse right now for ReWhite.
Yeah, we need another Revelation!
We need another revelation, but we don't have one.
We don't have one. We don't have a second Oracle on the way either. We're doing all of this off of a single Oracle. Here we go. We have another drop heads across the map. Back at home, we have a third CC. We have more Araxes. We are not going all in, and another shot's going to go off.
Might as well be all in at this point. I appreciate what ReWhite was trying to do there, to soak up the damage on the Adepts, but unfortunately there were a couple of probes already in position, and that splash damage, man, you never want to underestimate that. Another, okay, much better type pull this time.
Oh god, yeah, much better pull indeed. Meanwhile, it looks like the Widowmine in the main base has finally been cleaned up. We still don't have any revelations available, but a second Oracle is about to come out. It's going to be on PioneeR to try and split up his Widowmines, but I think they are going to be stuck here. I don't think they can unburrow without being killed.
Yeah, Widowmines are the bane to Protoss, but they can also be a blessing in disguise for Protoss. It's all about perspective.
Yeah, and after all said and done, have we dealt enough damage here? Looking at the units lost tab, we invested into 8 Widowmines, and they all got essentially 2 probes each.
Yeah, funny how that works out. I mean, the initial couple of Widowmine drops were very, very impressive. 15 probes went down total, but I feel like PioneeR should have quit when he was ahead.
Yeah, exactly. He pulled the trigger a little bit too early with that second drop into the natural base. So because of that, ReWhite is okay. He's got his third up and running. We have triple probe production. He's behind in the economy. Don't get me wrong, he is behind. But not an insanely massive gap as we would have otherwise thought.
Yeah, not too far behind. Very quickly able to recover from that.
Yeah, now we see the army coming across the map, and because of all that investment into the Widowmines, there are no tanks. There hasn't really been too much factory production. We have a couple of defensive mines back at home, which is great, but we had to delay all of our upgrades, all of the rest of the bio upgrades for that drop.
Fortunate bit of friendly fire going on. But finally, PioneeR does have his tanks out, and this should be enough to keep Yuki back. Problem is, what is Yuki going to do with the time that he has available with him?
Yeah, that's the question, right? Like, Yuki is getting fully saturated. We're transitioning into what looks to be Charge Lot Archon, as we do have that Temple Archives on the way. I say looks to be. Last game, Yuki did go for that Storm.
He did, actually, didn't he? But it was a little bit awkward to use Storms when their Phoenix is out.
Oh, and we have a relatively strong timing here for PioneeR. A lot of upgrades have finished up. We have Stim, Combat Shields, +1. Actually, 1-1 about to finish up as well, just in time for this push.
He needs to be very careful, though. He does not want to oversim his bio. The boys are not here to act as a buffer for them. And so Yuki is starting to break a little bit, actually.
Yeah, we have a couple of reinforcements coming in. The charges come in from the flank here, and it looks like with that, he's going to be able to force the Terran back, at least until the overcharge finishes up. As you were saying, we don't have any kind of, like, power units here. There aren't any Mortals. There aren't any Colossi. It's just pure Gateway Army.
And don't get me wrong, Archons can be good, but they're not that good.
And again, these Widowmines doing so much for ReWhite, just taking down every single one of those Zealots. And this is just really, like, hampering the army of Yuki. Like, he can just never really muster a large enough force.
As we see right now. Yeah, PioneeR basically has gone completely unhindered. The start of the game till potentially the end of it now. Beautiful concave on top of the entire ground army, and I don't really see a way, any way, for Yuki to turn this around.
Yeah, exactly. That just barely isn't enough. We have a couple more Widowmine shots going off on these Phoenixes. The army is quite heavily overstimmed, actually. And bearing in mind that PioneeR hasn't really been able to deal any economic damage. He's only been trading with the army. Ooh.
Which is exactly what PioneeR wants to do, and exactly why he hasn't pulled the boys. Yuki's army is more expensive, so, and his economic position is worse than his, so he can he can just keep pushing forward.
can keep pushing forward. He has started 2-2 behind this. Bear that in mind. But again, he wants to break through the defenses of ReWhite. He wants more damage to be done here. But the longer this goes on, ReWhite is holding on just barely. And now has detection. Finally going to be able to clean up these mines.
Yeah, but it feels a little too late because we have a massive drop straight into the main base of Yuki right now. Very quick warp in of Zealots. Unfortunately, they do get stuck in the Sim City, in the choke points just like that. And this brings the rest of the army of Yuki back home.
And I love it. The Templar Archives was focused down as well. That means there will not be a storm available here. There's not going to be any splash damage. No Archons either. We do have a massive counterattack of Zealots. And these Zealots in the middle line are actually getting work done.
Yeah, this could even things out a little bit for Yuki if he's plays his cards right, and the reinforcements are pulled back right now for PioneeR, so just like that, the Terra momentum has been halted for a moment.
Yeah, ReWhite buying a lot of breathing room here with his charge dots. He needs to get that Templar Archives back up and running again. Looking at the upgrades, sorry, we do actually have Storm. Storm has been completed for some time. We just haven't been able to warp in any High Templar.
Huh. I mean, that's just really a testament to how much pressure PioneeR's been applying on top of Yuki, I guess. Yuki always needed units that can attack now, not units that will gradually gather energy over time to deal AoE eventually.
Oh, exactly. Meanwhile, we do see another massive engagement here at the third base of ReWhite. At the same time, another Zealot round by actually getting into the natural, and once again, getting a lot of worker kills.
Yeah, we're gonna get to a point where these 3 orbital commands won't be able to produce enough mules to make up for the worker deficit.
Yeah, exactly. 12 SCVs go down to a run by of like 5 Zealots. Well worth it here for ReWhite. At the same time, again, detection coming in clutch. A lot of these Widow Mines are going to get targeted down.
And it's always important to take those out before the fight begins. That's the only source of splash damage for PioneeR right now. He doesn't have any ghosts with this army. Battery overcharge will keep this army at bay, and fortunately for Yuki, it feels like those force fields were actually working against his favor.
Yeah, I agree there. Like, the force fields weren't really helping him at all. The army is steaming on forward. Once again, we need a buffer. Templar coming in. Do we have enough energy for a storm?
Yes, we do. We have enough energy for 2 storms, as a matter of fact. And they'll be turning into an Archon now, but there's still enough on the ground right now for PioneeR to keep this going. Look at that worker supply difference the minute that Archon died. That, I heard this Marauder die sound now. That was chilling. That was chilling.
Oh my god, exactly. It's so visceral, but the Marauders, they stem on forward. The army has been broken. ReWhite has had the access to High Templar for so long. It took us so long to get those storms, and they were good, but again, it was a little bit too little too late. We needed that much sooner.
Yeah, I didn't really notice this. Well, okay, I noticed it, but I didn't take note of it. PioneeR actually went up to 3 bases. Which is the solution here, and will be how he wins that series 2-1, going up to, I think, a qualifying match, if I remember correctly. I'll double check. Yeah, he's in a qualifying match now.
Oh, GG, well played. Congratulations to PioneeR, coming in as a little bit more of an underdog, to be honest. We were all looking at ReWhite to make it all the way through these qualifiers, but I'm pretty impressed here by PioneeR. I'm not familiar with him. I don't know if he maybe went by a different name before and has like ID changed, or if he's always been a PioneeR. Maybe he's a newer player to the scene, but really impressive play here. Being able to hit a very strong upgrade timing, and he barely wasn't able to break his opponent, but like I feel like that drop into the main was pretty crucial. The fact that he was able to take down that Templar Archives.
So much. Yeah, having AoE is always crucial in a PvT, especially against a bio player. And yeah, being able to just delay the production of High Templar for so long, and even after. But it was more than just that, wasn't it? Because even after he remade the Templar Archives, it felt like the bio was always on top of ReWhite's face. To the point where he just couldn't afford to make High Templar and then maybe immediately warp them in. You know, fingers crossed, hope for the best, they'll be useful later on. He needed those Zealots. He needed those Stalkers immediately.
Oh, he really did, and he just again he was just kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, right? Like he needed damage here and now, and he wasn't thinking too far ahead into the future with getting in a couple of High Templar. Or to be fair, I think he did get two, but there was that moment that you called out where he was forced to morph them into Archons, right? Into that one Archon, which didn't really do much help for him either. So, yeah.
There are those many Marauders on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. So really well played there by PioneeR to be able to advance on the way that he did. And now he's waiting in that qualifying match. He's going to be going into a best of 5 against the winner of Jaedong Oz and someone else.